I fought for the life that I have. You understand what I'm saying? Some of us almost didn't come out of this. With all the abuse I experienced, I'm lucky to be here in my right mind. Do you know what it takes to live through abuse that I've experienced, that some of these people have experienced, and still be up in our right minds? And so the only route you can take is to bring that back up. How cruel could you be? All for to say what? You couldn't convey your message without going to hell, in the pits of hell. My voice is loud enough, is clear enough. My messaging is clear enough to convey how I feel without going into Buttah's private life or Blazee's private life. Why do we have to go to hell? I don't get that. My live has 223 people. Please like and share. Because this is the part where I'm spreading a healing. If you know me, you know that every live that I do, I speak fire, but I bring peace. 220 people in this live. How many of you have never done anything wrong? Tell me. I'll wait. I'll wait, and I see my numbers dropping real quick, because when it's time for the healing, people don't want healing because they want chaos. I'm not the chaos live. How many of you guys have lived your life without doing anything wrong to anyone? You haven't hurt anybody. You haven't taken vengeance out on anyone. Come on now. All of us have done some things that we are not so proud of. And if we could do it all, we would have done it differently. So give people grace. To go into this woman's, I'm sorry that happened to you, Buttah. I really am. Buttah,
I'm
you are my
here.
friend, and I'm here. And like I told you, I'm not going to run. I got your back. What happened to you was not justifiable. There was no reason to handle you without care. There was a misstep, but they did not have to handle you like that. You didn't deserve that. You didn't deserve it. You didn't deserve it. I know a lot of you are in here with your own personal beefs with one another. I don't have anything to do with that. What I will be manifesting moving forward, that there is peace. So we can get back to the business of things. I'm hoping that people I can't tell folks how to respond to what hurts them. I only can tell you what I wish for you. I wish perfect peace. What I wish for you is that you have in a life of so much abundance of peace that you forget all your pain. And what does accountability look like? Because I hear this word accountability, and what I've been watching happen on this this app is punishment. I've been seeing punishment, not accountability. And do we understand that in order to hold someone accountable, they must be open to that? You can't hold someone accountable So you go in a live and you brutalize someone's name, their character, and you think you're holding them accountable? You think they are learning their lesson? You pick up the tools of white supremacy and the patriarch, and you brutalize your own people in the name of accountability. That's what you do? That's twisted.
Or you know what they could do? Really want to fix things. How about get off TikTok, make sure you register to vote. So when these people are getting these sentences, and if they get 20 years, make sure you put the right people in the office that's going to make them serve all those 20 years. You get rid of your judges, you get rid of your district attorneys, your prosecutors, the parole board. Those are the people who, when these people he had a 20 sentence, everybody's so mad he got out. Get
Excuse
mad
me,
at the
can you
people you
mute
put in
yourself?
office.
I'm
Fair
sorry. I'm sorry.
winds.
I'm not used to this. Sorry.
Okay. That's a
That's what
good
we got to
point.
do. Instead of just talking about it, we got to be about it, and we got to be involved in our community to make sure these people, the right people, are in the office.
But all politics is local, right? That's a fact. That in order for things to change, it has to start at the bottom in communities. That means that you have to sweep your communities of people who do not serve a positive, who do not serve your community in a positive way. You have to get them out. It takes one person, but one person can start, and then you add two or three more, then you have a group, and that's
Mm-hmm.
simple as that. We as a people, we have to understand that we have got to get people out of our communities who do not serve our best interests. And what I mean by that is, I just don't mean them. I mean us. I mean, we've been in a perpetual state of disenfranchisement and conflict since the late 80s, probably prior to that, the 70s. And even though we have progressed in some areas, the one area we have not progressed in is understanding that everybody is not going to be in our best interest. They have an individual desire to
Mute,
do things.
please.
They have an
Brooke,
individual.
SJ, can you mute, please?
Sure.
I'll be brief.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry. They have an individual desire to do things, but that's fine. But we got to have a collective way of thinking, and that thing should be is, what do we want in our community? Do we want nice homes? Do we want our
Hi,
kids to
Tanya.
do we want our kids do we want our kids to go to top schools? Do we want teachers who represent our best interests? Do we want to have do we want to have hospitals in our communities? Do we want to have mental health facilities in our communities? Do we want to have pretty much nice, clean, paved roads in our communities? Sometimes just having the feeling of the community itself taking pride in that goes a long way, because you see greatness when you see all these things that are happening. But I don't understand why we never get to that point. We take whatever we earn and we run to their communities and leave our communities in despair, and then we talk about it. See, look at this ghetto. This, do we not understand when you get an education and you make all this money and you run to the suburbs or you run to another community, you're only white supremacy is profiting off of that, and your community is not. Your tax dollar, your tax base is their tax base now. They're getting better roads and nice schools, and their kids get to have all these programs. Your kids don't. Your generations of kids in your neighborhood don't. That's all I'm saying.
Can I ask a question, Butter? I'm curious to see what your
Yes,
take was.
ma'am.
Do you feel like that live was successful?
Well, really, I didn't really know what it was going to be about. I just was given my platform for Blaze and Silverback to talk. That was my understanding.
And so
So
now
I
that
didn't
it's done,
really
so
know.
now that this has happened, do you feel like that live was a successful live?
You know, kind of I do. You want to know why? Because a lot of people was exposed from that live. A lot of people have been exposed. So for in that instance, yes.
Do you feel like there was damage caused by that live?
Damage to who?
People, the lateral damage. Do you see? Do you
Well, how I
do
look
you
at
feel like
that,
there's?
I'm not responsible for anybody's triggers. You are responsible for your own trigger. I didn't force anybody to
I
watch it.
didn't ask
They
you
could
that.
delete it.
Whoa, 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 butter. I didn't tell you to take any responsibility for anybody's trigger.
You said a
I
lot of
just
people were
asked
damaged
you.
from it.
I asked you. This was my question. This is my question.
Hmm.
Do you feel like there was damage, negative lateral damage that was caused from that live?
I don't think I'm understanding what you're asking me.
Okay. So you know how we could set out to do one thing, right? And then you have an intention, right? You said your intention was to let Blaze sit and talk to Butter. I mean, sit and talk to Silverback. And now
Hmm.
the impact is that some people felt triggered by that. Some people felt like that live hosted an abuser and gave him a platform to kind of um, to gain clout, to make himself the victim, um, to a lot of people in that live was being silenced. A lot of us was being muted. Can you see the impact also, or can you see that it also caused harm? Is what I'm asking you. And is that, and if
What
that
I
wasn't your intention, then that's what I'm asking. If that wasn't your intention, is that it also it caused harm? Do you feel like there were some things that you would have done differently when it comes to that live?
yes, I would have. I would have done like more research. I would have like been more involved in like what was gonna like what to expect out of it. And then I
Yeah.
could have got better. I would have been better prepared for it.
Yes. I feel like my experience in that live, I think I just found that the live was 5 hours. I didn't know that. But my experience in that live when I got in there, I left out a lot of the times because as a survivor of DV and SA, I just felt like him sitting there talking for 3.5 hours or however many hours he was talking and no one was allowed to comment and the comments were turned off and it basically was coddling him and safeguarding him from like hearing what people had to say to him. I felt like that wasn't the right approach, but again, that's not my life. And when I did get in the box, I seen a lot of people like, we need to move forward. We don't need to keep on harassing him about it. And when people try to ask questions, it was just like a lot of like pushback when you try to get to the nitty gritty of the questions. And so as a survivor, I thought that lie was dangerous. I really did. I thought that it gave too much space for him to gloat. There was a moment when he said, I was called a beast. And the way he said it wasn't like an embarrassment. It was more like I called myself the beast. And I thought, wow, this guy,
You
I
know,
don't
to
know
be
if he,
honest, Ray, to be honest, a lot of it, like, I was really like, what do you call it? Like, not connected to it. Like, I was there, but I wasn't. I even got up and I left a few times
I said that
because,
about you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
because, like, it was hard for me sitting there, but I was just trying to provide that space. But it was very hard for me.
I said that. I said, I feel like a lot of that live, you disassociated. You were not present. That was my assessment from your body language. I just said she's not present. And I don't know, I couldn't be present.
No.
And I knew you couldn't be present because you lived this out in real life. And so I wanted to know what were you feeling? You can't be present for all that story. I mean, I cried. I cried today just looking at the pictures of those kids. Made my stomach hurt. So I kept on thinking, I wonder what she's feeling right now. And she's not saying, because you didn't say. I heard you say something is when he said, my wife was the bag, so I couldn't leave. And you said, you heard that, ladies? Y'all listening? And that's when you finally seemed like you was present for that moment. But overall, I didn't think you were present. And I knew that because I couldn't stay present for that live. It was too horrific. That's why I left a lot of the time. Go ahead, Nikki B.
I just have one question. Will the conversation ever shift to hold a platform to talk about how to protect children? It's a lot of conversation about the adults and how the adults feel and the ops and all that. But are we ever going to have a conversation about the children? Not just those children, but other children that need to be protected. Or what can we do to better protect the children? Will the conversation ever shift to that?
You know, that
We
I
did
think
hit
that's
on that some.
Say that again,
We
Buttah.
did in this live. In this live, we did hit on that some. We were talking about politicians, the community, what you can do in your community, what where your tax dollars go, to better schools, better mental health. We were talking about that.
So, can I say something, Nikki? I think that's a wonderful question. I would love to host a live about how to protect children. I struggle with that because how do you have a live without actually talking about kids, but talking about the kids? You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because we would have to talk about horrendous incidents where folks need support. And I've done things like that in my lifetime. And I can tell you that doing that often impacts your mental health. If you're amongst abused people and listening to their stories a great deal, I mean, I got an injunction passed in New York City for women who were getting their children removed because they would not leave the abusers. They had nowhere else to go. And the state of New York City was removing their children from their homes and putting them into temporary care. And those kids were being abused. I did that. I went through that for 5 years. You can look up the Nicholson injunction. And so I that's a good question. And so I believe the question is, what can we do now in this situation to help these adult children? Because they're adults now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can't help but to wonder where's that money going? When people are donating to mom, where's the money going? Is it going to the kids? Do they have TikToks or something that we can donate to? I think therapy is very vital for this family situation. I had to go to therapy for years. And when I say years, I'm talking almost 20. Off and on. I'm concerned. I feel like what I would like to do is help those kids. Let's help the kids that are before us. Those kids need help. How do we help them? I don't know. I really don't know. And I wish I could give you an answer, but I would like to.
And
I would like those kids to have a place where they can call home, where they are not amongst people who have abused them.
Yeah. And one more thing I'm dropping out. And I know that this is a triggering conversation, but aren't the kids worth having the conversation, even though it's, triggering? But I do feel like, because kids are not spoken enough anywhere, even on this app. And I do feel that they are worth the conversation, even though it can be a hard conversation, a triggering conversation. But I do feel that children are worth that.
And I don't know how in this situation.